Welcome to this special edition about our masterclass, Universidad Militar Nueva Granada in Colombia. Dr. Rafael, how are you? Welcome to this masterclass. How are you?
Hello. Thank you very much, Dr. Cesar Ramirez. I am glad to see you, and I wish to express my particular gratitude to the directors of our university, especially to Dr. Giancarlo Mejia Suero, former dean and director of this university legal office, Consultorio Jurídico, who completed 40 years of service to the community. Likewise, to you, Dr. Cesar Ramirez, coordinator and soul of this activity.
Thank you so much for accepting this invitation with this masterclass. Our title, Employment Relationships from the Atypical to the Liquid. What is the topic about, Dr. Forero?
Thank you. In 1985, in Caracas, Venezuela, under the presidency of Rafael Caldera Rodriguez, a World Congress of the International Labor Law Society was held, and it included the topic called New Forms of Atypical Work Relationships. At that time, fixed-term relationships, stages, teleworking were increasing frequent, as well as loans between employers, forms of community work, and between neighbors and friends comes to stay. Some issues have been regulated, others hardly be regulated by pressure from national and multinational companies, as well as device government interests.
Okay, our presentation is going to be approx 30 or 35 minutes. And I have these topics for all the users here in Colombia and, of course, in the United States and in Europe and other countries who are watching this special presentation from Universidad Militar Nueva Granada. Labor and employment relationships from the atypical to the liquid, appearance and protagonism of the collaborative relationships, computer platforms and locations algorithms, pandemic and college education. What amazing topic, Dr. Forero. Of course, if the doors close, will the windows open is the question. And finally, and the last 5 topics, men and computer, peaceful coexistence or displacement. What a great topic, a special presentation. Dr. Rafael, the next 30 minutes is going to be a great presentation. Thank you so much. If I have some questions from the audience, I will present these questions here in this live presentation. Welcome, please.
Thank you very much. It would be my pleasure. Hello. As I told before, in 1985, the relationship word reacted to a special fact: the influence of new form of atypical work relationships. As I say, at that time, stages and teleworking were just starting, were just appearing to people. However, those situations continue and increase over the years. That is why we can assume and assure that 35 years later, the mutation of those relationships is notorious towards new horizons, not only in labor matters, but also in various manifestations of daily life, even romantic relationships. Liquid relationships were given away, and we can find them all around the world, all around our activities. The philosopher and sociologist Zygmunt Bauman is in charge of defining liquid relationships as a very fragile bond between the people around you. He focuses on defining what is bond and fragile. It makes relationships with a partner, friends, or family not so stable. Liquid work is a concept that was born to define the labor relations that prevailed in the current area. It explains a reality in which people relate to their professions, their employers, and their colleagues from a different point of view. Cycles are faster. Mobility is the order of today, and the search for flexibility becomes a maxim. The transition from one model to another is driven by the digital revolution and new technologies that have established a dynamic of continuous change. Already in 1999, Zygmunt Bauman spoke for the first time of the liquid concept to refer to a changing society. Therefore, in recent years, we have witnessed the birth of teleworking, the only contractions, freelancers, and many small companies access international markets without leaving their cities. In this context, liquid work arises that encourages employers to leave old habits behind and to create their own brand, reinventing themselves and adapt to new times. The office now travels with the employee wherever he or she goes. In other words, there is no obligations to always go to the workplace, but rather that people can carry out their work from anywhere. The schedules are not strict. The important thing is to achieve objectives. Flexibility in this regard facilitates work-life balance and promotes employment motivations. We have to see and figure that during this pandemic. Vertical hierarchical structures disappear in favor of horizontality. Bosses stop being bosses to become leaders and give voice to all team members equally. Employees are less loyal to companies and change job when they find a company that values their talent. It is estimated that a professional will be able to change jobs 11 times during their entire working life. Technology is the only in the order of the day to facilitate mobility, interaction, and collaboration. Aspects such as teleworking are possible thanks to this. Flex offices are therefore a blank canvas for companies that practice liquid work to translate this philosophy into their workspace as well. With this model, they have offices ready to start working from the first moment and adapted to their needs. Companies do not have to worry about contracting supplies, maintenance services, etc. Temporary employment, part-time work. Temporary work through an agency or third party, outsourcing, self-employment, and ambiguous employment relationships are the type of atypical jobs that exist in the world and do not count with necessary policies that regulate or improve their quality. The ILO report named Atypical Employment in the World, Challenges and Prospects highlights the increase of the type of employment worldwide and in South America. The problem with these jobs is that, according to the ILO's Director General for Policy in the same study, Deborah Greenfield, these jobs do not guarantee adequate and stable remuneration, protection against professional risk, and social protection. Colombia is considered by the ILO as one of the most advanced countries in the region. Based on this ILO report, in our country, there is a clear difference in the persons who are in direct contracts and indirect contracts, unlike other countries in the region. This makes the person take the job at their own risk, and that in turn can maintain their autonomy and freedom, taking into account a fixed salary and occupational risks. That is why we call them false autonomies. It is a false situation, false autonomy. In addition, in Colombia, informality and atypical open contract jobs is increasing, but lower than other countries like Argentina, where almost a third of atypical workers are informal, and in Chile, almost half of the atypical works are informal. What recommendation does the LO propose to improve this quality of non-standard form of employment? The first thing to do is fill in the regulatory gaps, including policies that guarantee equal treatment regardless of the type of employment contract. Following this, it is important to strengthen the bargaining of the unions that represent these types of jobs. It is also important to strengthen social protection. Finally, says the ILO, It is important to adopt social policies that support job creation and find out what are the basic needs of workers in terms of training and family responsibilities. We can affirm that this is a part of the crisis of the industrial age as we know it. Let's go to a second main point. Second, appearance and protagonism of collaborative relationships. Collaborative work versus the individual not only contributes to created synergies between the people who carry it out, it also helps to spread knowledge among the parties involved to a greater enrichment of ideas as well as to significant cost savings. My dear colleague at the Colombian Academy of Jurisprudence, Ernesto Cavalier Franco, called Regulations of the Collaborative Economy to his work of promotion to number member. You can follow this in the revista of the Academia Colombiana de Jurisprudencia. In the text published by the corporation's magazine, its author highlights the characteristics of the fourth industrial revolution, the Internet of Things, three-dimensional printing, the improvements of computers, and the advent of the Internet. It subdivided the components of the sharing economy into access economy, gig economy, mesh economy, and sharing economy. In the latter, a substantial number of market participants, at the behest of digital platforms, would be willing to generate a better use of certain assets that would otherwise will be out of the market, such as real estate, equipments, vehicles, professional and personal services that used to be very difficult to market through traditional media. The collaborative economy is the chain exchange between peers. It is called P2P. That is the exchange between private people like you or me. It is based in providing temporary access to underused goods and services, such as spaces, money, goods, skills, and services. Greater use and efficiency of goods and services, recirculation of goods, and exchange of services. We can consider that it is facilitated by intermediaries such as online marketplaces, social media technologies, or community-based online services. It would involve the exchange of private goods through payment or without payments. Platforms as Uber, Airbnb, Rappi, Colombian expression for the word, eBay, Etsy, Mercado Libre, and many others may be classified as belonging to the collaborative economy or not, which will allow them to be assigned a different treatment based on their contribution to society in a collaborative way. Contributory, sharing, generating a series of benefits, effects, which are implicit in the definition. Let's go to a third idea. Computer platforms and location algorithms, accessories or managers of cyber informality. I remember that in the neighborhood where I lived, of the few who cycled for work reasons were those youngs who worked in drugstores and brought medicines to the customers' homes in times of dire needs. I also remember those brave motorcyclists in black leather jackets who carried the reels of the film in record time between several cinemas, whose functions began 15 or 30 minutes apart to carry the reels of the acclaimed Oscar-winning film The Ten Commandments by Cecil Blount de Mille from one place to another. Today, between us, Rappi, and his model, Glovers, put hundreds or maybe thousands of young people on bicycles with home deliveries of meals and others, with great worth in the face of confinement due to the pandemic. Glovers and delivery are between us, and the Supreme Courts hesitate to establish the employment relationship. For that reason, we call them false independent. We also speak of mototaxi as something normal in cities and fields in various countries and continents. Colombia is no exception. From the remise or vehicle that took tourists from airports to hotels, we turn to platforms and applications for mobile phones, such as Uber and other specialized in the transport of people in vehicles driven by the owners, thanks to geolocation platforms, real-time availability, in coexistence or confrontation with traditional taxi services.
Doctor, I'm sorry, Doctor. We have a couple of questions about this
Yes.
topic. If you want, you can receive these questions. What about, you are talking about the algorithms. But
Yes.
we can talk about the artificial intelligence, for example, and we have a lot of users and our audience. There are many law students in different faculties here in Colombia and in Latin America. What about the use of artificial intelligence in the, for example, a judicial system or even for lawyers, judges, and everything in the judicial system? What do you think, doctor?
It is a very, very interesting and important question. As a matter of fact, I am able to speak about it in 5 minutes, according to the order of my speech. And it is truly important because our profession and for physicians, it is truly important to see what are we able to do with ourselves in order to maintain our jobs, our skills, our families, because those interesting computers want to take place. And we have to be so clever to ensure our subsistence, to maintain our life, our way of life, to maintain human in the top, not computers. Thank you. And let's continue because it is truly important. For instance, studying the subject of accommodation, the traditional hotels industries sees an exponential increase in the leasing of properties, apartments, houses, and farms for days or weeks in platforms such as Airbnb. Its defenders applaud the possibility of obtaining fresh resources for short leases within the sharing economy, while its opponents believe that there is unfair competition against traditional hotels. They also accuse those who want to take out the tenants for annuities versus lucrative short-term rentals, especially in iconic cities where tourists are displacing locals for a highly profitable business. Let's see our fourth point on education. Four, pandemic and postgraduate college education. If the door closes, will the window open? It is no secret to anyone that post-university education is a very expensive project, at least seen from our perspective of those who make up the middle class, economically speaking. Furthermore, to think of a master's degree or for a doctorate from a renowned Anglo-Saxon university is a bridge too far, parodying the name of the market garden operation that aimed to bring Allied airborne troops to the Netherlands towards the end of the Second World War. Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, MIT, UCLA, and other renowned universities remained for many decades out of the reach of intelligent and capable young students from all around the world, frustrated by the impossibility of meeting the tuition and living costs only reserves for his of tycoons and millionaires in the world. However, the coronavirus pandemic could break this paradigm. Large university centers opened online courses that allow students to stay in their distant homes and pay high but increasingly affordable amounts to graduate from countries like ours. For this reason, I invite the students' audience of this program to consult costs and condition of entry, increasingly grounded for the average of our professional and family income. Let's go to your point and the question you asked before. Fifth point, man and computer, peaceful coexistence or displacement in the Internet of Things. I remembered the memorable chess match between Garry Kasparov and a computer named Deep Blue, made by IBM in 1997. According to John Turkel, in the years to come, an increasing number of people, I don't know if you or me, will stay up at night worrying about what will happen when the advancement of machines make their knowledge obsolete. What will this mean for your job, your self-esteem, and your sense of humanity? Few people have experienced this progress as publicity and painfully as Garry Kasparov, one of the greatest players of chess history, who hoisted the flag of humanity in his epic chases with specialized chess computers. In 1995, the Deep Blue computer program developed by IBM inflicted on Kasparov a tight but psychologically crushing defeat for Kasparov in the spotlight of world attention. It was the first time a computer had won a series of games against the reigning world champion of a game that for centuries has been the cornerstone of human intelligences. My friends, I still wonder if Deep Blue, after his fifth victory over the Russian Kasparov, went out to party with other androids and drink some beers. Today, technology invaded the sacred privacy of homes. Smart fridges are report and they report food shortages as in a clear example of this. We have, so you don't have milk. May I buy it for you? You need vegetables. And maybe they work by themselves. They don't ask a permission. They go to a big place and ask, and delivery is ensured. Other subjects: land transport vehicles that do not require a driver make us think of the race between automotive manufacturers that want to computerize them, and, in the other hand, computer companies that wants to put wheels on their computing units. This is the point you asked for. Computers capable of performing chirurgical operation and treating patients with the highest success rather than renowned physicians. Machines programmed to solve legal problems, analyze lawsuits, and administer justice are already in operation. I would like to
Doctor,
say,
what amazing,
be happy.
what,
Yes, I listen to you.
what an amazing presentation. I have a lot of questions here from the audience, and I just received the novel Snow Crash. Did you hear about that? This is like the creation of the metaverse.
Yes,
Remember the
yes.
virtual reality that is presented, for example, on social platforms. The
I,
author,
I, I am trying to invite my proper avatar.
uh,
I wish to see
Neil,
yours.
okay, Neil Stephenson is the author, and he creates in this novel like a parallel world, virtual reality, and metaverse. This is one question. Thinking about the future. Yes, of course. Creating our own avatars. I can't believe that situation in the future, especially because I think it will be so dangerous for the kids. I believe this is too complicated that we can give this kind of tools in the social media to the kids. This is one question. The other is in the digital transformation, there are four forces: iCloud, big data, Internet of Things, and of course, artificial intelligence. Um, I don't know what could be the future of the society with these all computer interactions, interacting in virtual reality. What do you think about this human ecology? This is a kind of new system, but for example, in a virtual worlds for the new generation. I can't think about that, doctor, because it's a completely a different ecosystem.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we have to invite our students and young people to think about this reality. It is not a movie, it is not a game, a computer game. It is real. It is as the situation of the coronavirus. You can't see it, but it is there. That is why I invite the students who listen to us to find out what is the added value that their potential clients can give to attract them to their legal consultation. Likewise, prepare for an individuality that creates respect and value in their presence and justifies the remuneration based on the individuality of their professional profile. In the other hand, what can we do with young people? I am truly scared about this generation growing during pandemics. They can't share with others. They can touch. They are unable to go to a park to play, to have the possibility of a raining day, or to have a little scar because they fell down. We have to think about that, and we have to ensure that ours could be able to understand this important challenge. To our law students, I have as a background a lot of colleagues who give us the best, their intelligence, and it is on papers, on books, on reading. Our youngs are not invited to go to a library. They don't want to see a book. They want to see if the solution to a problem is given by this auxiliary. And I am very worried if machine will be able to answer our famous exams called preparatorios. And maybe because those formats and those different machines will be better than us. However, we have to continue and we have to follow. I remember maybe 40 years ago when my father, who was also uh, a jurist, gave us an important thinking resolution to this problem. And the fact was this one. Rafael Caldera and my father and myself were together with some officers of an important vehicles company. And the leader of this uh, employment Ford agency says, I want to talk to the leader of those collective bargainings, to the president of the syndicate, the trade union, and I want to ask him if he will be able to ensure that those workers, and he put his hand on a machine who was able to see and to follow the work of another machine that makes machines. They were doing automobiles. Machines were doing automobiles, and other machines were checking if the work was well done. Of the CIO says, okay, ensure me that those can be in your collective bargaining, and as you can follow you in this, your union. And the president of the trade union simply and carefully give this answer. Yes, dear CIO, in the same way that you will be able to sell your automobiles to those workers. And he put his hand on the machine. We need people. We certainly still need people. We have to be capable to understand and to give this information to our kids, to our youngs, to our teenagers. Technology is a close friend, but this is not going to do really your job. You have it. You have to do it by yourself.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Rafael Forero. This was a special presentation, our master class, Employment Relationships from the Atypical to the Liquid. I'm going to read this, just a brief presentation of the Snow Crash novel. In the real world, hero protagonist delivers pizza, but in the metaverse, he's a warrior prince plunging headlong into the enigma of a new computer virus that's striking down hackers everywhere. We have the new metaverse coming. I don't know what kind of interactions, but for all of our students here in Colombia, Latin America, and of course in Europe and in the United States, thinking about this kind of work that is coming very soon. Dr. Rafael, thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. And that is why I decided to have my coffee cup with me. Because if you see those computers and you want to enter to an official page, you have to follow a question. Are you a computer? No, I am not a computer. I am a person, a human being. And I have to see you soon to share a coffee cup.
No, of course. And I don't know why, Doctor, but I always prefer to read a book. A book. I love the books. I don't know why I don't like the digital books. I don't know why, but I prefer my physical book. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon in another master class. Thank you so much, and everybody in Latin America and around the world. See you soon. Thank you so much, and please take care.